Hello there again, everybody. This is going to be Jung League number 81. Same list as League number 80. That league went pretty alright. For the most part, the matchups felt really fine, and we did also get a few bad matchups in the last league. So when the bad matchups felt fine, that's a good sign. So I'm going to try it out again. Still playing no copies of Seasoned Pyromancer and only one copy of Ren and 6. I think that if you're new here, that's going to be what is the most different between what I like to play in Jund and what most other people would like to play in Jund. I just don't feel like Pyromancer and Ren and 6 add anything significant. Or they just, in my opinion, don't have a high enough impact on the average game where you see them. So I'm playing cards that I feel do have a higher impact when I see them. And I think the biggest point along those lines is Dark Confidant. Dark Confidant has the ability to take over the game kind of on its own if left unchecked, and we've obviously got multiple tools to help make sure it goes unchecked. We've got lots of the discard spells to help clear the way, and then also we're just playing the maximum number of copies, so that way if one dies, hopefully we have a backup, and then if it does die, we've got just Kolaghan's Command to buy it back, and then obviously Kolaghan's Command excellent buying back things like Bloodbraid, Tarmogoyf. Not so much Kroxa, but Kroxa, another really big powerhouse that people still kind of uncertain on how many we should be playing. I've tried 1, I've tried 3, I'm playing 2 currently, and I think 2 is a pretty solid number. I don't think I'd ever go less than 2. I think there's some times when 3 is probably correct. But drawing a lot of Kroxas does feel awkward, because while it is a 2-mana play, it's 2 mana that doesn't actually impact the board in a meaningful way. This is basically a 4-drop. So I mean, this is kind of just like a very smooth curve, 13, 11, 7, 6 curve, and then you can slide Kroxa back down here. Just like if you don't have something to do at 2 mana, you can always just cast a Kroxa. So still really prioritizing 1 mana interaction because there's lots of aggro in the format. And then Cling to Dust is a cool little experiment. I've used it in the past to some success, and it's been good recently as well. Even in the last league where I was playing 1. Total of 3 escape cards that use our graveyard, so I'm not really expecting them to conflict too much. But I mean, there's always a chance it comes up, but it hasn't come up yet. So I mean, this is the list that I'm rocking. I guess the one other thing I should mention is that I'm playing 2 copies of Terminate as my 2 mana removal slot. I like to usually play 2 mana removal spells, and for most people, this is a mix of Terminate, Abrupt Decay, and or Assassin's Trophy. I really dislike Assassin's Trophy despite it being a catch-all. I feel like giving the opponent a land in the early to mid game is a significant drawback, and I've had it be really good for my opponent more often than it's been good for me. Like pretty often, a lot of people like to say that, well, it's one of your better cards versus Mono Green Tron, for example. And I think even in the games where you're Assassin's Trophying a Tron land on turn 2, more often than not, you're losing game 1 anyway. So I don't really think having a trophy is going to significantly increase my win percentage over something like Abrupt Decay or Terminate. I think, in fact, that Abrupt Decay or Terminate is just straight better if you know the threats that you're hoping to line up against. And I like Terminate over the Abrupt Decays right now because there's lots of Eldrazi Tron and there's also lots of Stormwing entities. And if you want to kill Thought-Knots, Reality Smashers, on Stormwing entities, Terminate does that, whereas Abrupt Decay doesn't, so I'm playing 2 Terminate. And then the sideboard, we've got it stocked for big mana hate in Ashiok, Damning Sphere, Cleansing Wildfire, and then we've got some grave hate in the form of Ashiok again and Nile Spellbomb. If we're playing against any creature combo decks such as Heliod or even Mirrors, where we want our Arglyphs to be bigger than theirs, or if we just play against a tribal deck, which isn't super uncommon these days, we've got 2 Plague Engineers. And then to round it out, if we ever play against anything hyper aggro, we've got 2 copies of Collective Brutality, and more often than not, you're gonna see me bring these in versus the control decks, where these can take Cryptic Command, whereas something like an Inquisition can't. So I think it's got some good uses in the control to mid range matchups as well, and also just a subpar removal spell. If two damage is enough to kill a creature. You'll see me bring in Brutality for those kinds of matchups as well. Any matchup where I just need the extra bit of removal. So let's look at the current modern metagame. Heliod Company and Jund Shadow still in 1 and 2. Blitz has been a pretty solid 3rd after these 2. So the top 3 pretty cemented as of now. Tron and Eldrazi Tron, 2 matchups I'm hoping to avoid, coming in at 4 and 5. And then even this 6th matchup here I would like to avoid. So 4, 5, and 6 being matchups I want to avoid. not super promising, but I mean, we've got some fight, at least in the sideboarded games. Titan, Burn, Esper, Blue-White, all matchups I'm fine with. I think they're 50-50 or better. Hammer Time I'm happy with. I would like to avoid this deck here. This is the deck that is trying to cheat out a Living End with all of their cycling creatures. The Grave Hate's going to be particularly important here in the form of either Nihil, Spellbomb, or Ashiok. And then aggro and the mirror, and then 4-color control I would also like to avoid. So I guess 5 matchups that I would like to avoid, at least as far as this top 15 is concerned. Again, that's Tron, Eldrazi Tron, 5-color, Living End, and 4-color control. Basically anything that every single card in the deck, either 2-for-1s or they cheat a bunch of power into play all at the same time that overwhelms. So those are the 5 I'd like to avoid, again, at least as the top 15 is concerned, and then the rest I should be pretty alright with. Let's jump into the league and see how we do. Oop, wrong window. There we go. What's up, Spunky and Udok? Glad your workday has completed and you can chill a little bit. What am I most looking forward to from Strixhaven? Honestly, I haven't looked a whole lot into it. I know like the cards come out in Magic Online in like less than a week, right? I haven't looked too far into it, so I couldn't really tell you, to be honest. Oh, you couldn't find a link on the profile? That might be something I have to set up, to be honest, so let me get back to you on that. The opponent has revealed Luris, as they tend to do. Against the Luris hand, Luris opponent's hand's probably fine. We need a fetch to combo with our Peatland, but 2 lands and spells feels like it's going to be hard to mulligan. Hammer Time. Alright, so this hand looks pretty good versus Hammer Time. And there's the land. Alright, so let's just lead there. And then if I do need to fetch Shock in order to bolt, I guess I'll get Stomping Ground. That'll complete the trifecta here. So I feel like this matchup should be pretty good. I like to play it like the Infect matchup, where I'll kill all their stuff in the second main if I need to. Shadow Spear, that's not a creature I have to kill. And a Drum, sure. So this is going pretty well so far. Am I at all in danger of dying to this Inkmoth next turn? There, I guess, is in theory a chance. So what if they go... Oh, Inquisition makes it a lot easier. I could just run in 6 here. But then maybe, like, what if they went 0-mana creature to combo with the Springleaf Drum? They could play a land. They could activate... and then attack, and then using their creature or a land, cast a hammer, which would auto-equip. So I could just die, but Inquisition and hold up both is going to make that feel at least pretty impossible to just die here. They've got Paladin and what is effectively a hammer. So Paladin is going to cantrip, but I can kill it pretty easily. I think I'm just going to prevent them from finding a hammer and just take the Steel Shaper's Gift. And then if they play the Paladin here, I can just pretty much bolt it. You're looking out to bling it out more? Yeah, the Mystical Archive Inquisition I have seen. That looks pretty sweet. I think all of the art in that style has looked pretty cool. Alright, Luris to hand. So now I can play Wrenn and 6 and hold up the Lightning Bolt. Kolaghan's Command's got to be one of the best cards in this matchup, and finding multiples feels pretty good. So this gives +1/+1 trample lifelink. Let's Wrenn and 6. Buy back the land, hold up a bolt. What's up, Mark? So I could still lose this game, but I'm feeling pretty ahead. Something I'll have to be careful of is if they play Paladin and then I bolt it, they could potentially get it back in the same turn that they play Aluris. So hopefully I'm not gonna give them a free window to get a card back. But I mean, they are short on white sources given that they're heavy on Ink Moths. And Kolaghan's Command is an excellent answer to Ink Moth because it is an artifact when it's activated. And I'm not going to tap out for Bloodbraid here. I'm going to wait until I have more lands established. Tarmogoyf is a good draw. I don't know that I want to go for it yet, though. If I leave up Kolaghan's Command and the Lightning Bolt, I think it's pretty impossible to lose. So I think I'm just gonna play this as a sheer control deck, and then as soon as I have like 6 or 7 lands in play, it's probably more than safe to play stuff. I might even go for the Tarmogoyf as early as next turn, because next turn I can hold up both Bolt and Terminate in addition to playing the Goyf, and that feels pretty safe. Oh, I have seen the Faithless Looting. It's cool. It's definitely interesting. I can't say that I like it because I personally don't, but it's definitely different. So their hand is Luris and Paladin still, +1 unknown. Alright, another Inquisition is pretty excellent. I should probably just do that. I don't want them to play Paladin and then play a Hammer or something and just let them get more cards. I feel really ahead. I might as well just stay really ahead. Alright, so they've got land, Luris, Paladin. Let's just take the Luris, I guess. They're gonna be able to pay 0 to equip, but they can't. They don't auto equip at instant speed. It's only when an equipment would enter. So let's just continue doing this, playing this, and now it's probably pretty safe to play the Goyf. Although I guess even safer to not to. I'm so far ahead. Let's just not die to something random. I'll be patient. We've only got basics left in the deck to fetch, so I'll be mindful of that. Maybe I start looping Peatland, but I've got so much to do with my mana. Sure. And I'm going to let this thing connect with me. I'm not going to fire the first shot. I doubt they're going to kill me with like some proliferate nonsense. This can take a hit for 1. Alright, so they played a Marshlet. So their hand is just Plains and a Paladin. Right? I guess I'll just use the Kolaghan's Command. I can do 2 damage to this and shock a Shadow Spear, I guess. So we'll do kill an artifact, shock. And I am going to fetch here because I want to continue buying it back. So it feels pretty free. I'll get Mountain. I've got a lot of red spells. And now I can pretty safely cast a Tarmogoyf and be very ahead. This makes it even easier. So their hand is just Plains. So now I'll have Bolt and Determinate available. Feels pretty impossible to lose this game. Sure. So I've got 0 cards remaining. Should I just Terminate or Bolt this to get it out of the way? Probably. I mean, I've got so much stuff. Let's use the Bolt in case they want to like flash a Hammer into play. Bolt, the Hammer would save their creature from a Bolt. I've got so many like riches here that it kind of doesn't matter. Yeah, this is going to be pretty hard to lose. Just increase the clock here, make it harder for them to come back. Make it harder for them to come back. Yeah, and like they can block with their Ink Moth if they want. I could even just terminate it just to make sure our creatures actually connect. Alright, now I'll play the Peatland, so if they don't do anything, I can start buying back things that just draw cards. The venue used to work at had a period where they did all the posters in the looting style. Hated it. Hate it now. Yeah, I mean it's definitely a weird style. Alright, so Plague Engineer going to be excellent versus the Ink Moth plan. Brutality is just another kill spell. It takes things like Path, Steel Shaper's Gift. That might be it. Yeah, let's put it in the maybe pile. I think Spellbomb also in the maybe pile because the opponent is on the Luris plan. And then Wildfire is fine, again, also for the Ink Moth plan. So we've got a lot of maybes. I'm gonna I usually like shaving on the Bloodbreeds because I don't really want to tap out versus what is effectively a combo deck. If the opponent's got Rest in Peace, how dead do I want to be to it? I think I'll probably cut a Kroxa as well. I'm aware they play Luris, so that makes it unlikely that they're playing Rest in Peace, but Rest in Peace hurts me a lot more than it hurts them, and I've seen people bring it in against me before. I think on the draw, it's probably pretty safe to cut 2 Lilianas. They're pretty often going to have multiple creatures, so killing like an Ornithopter when they're like 2 other things that are super threatening doesn't seem great. It's also 3 mana and sorcery speed. I don't know that this Cling to Dust is going to do a whole lot. They're playing the Luris plan, so I suppose it could, but we're bringing in Spellbomb almost for sure. I think I probably just don't want to play the Brutality. It's going to be a bit weak on the draw. I don't think it hits enough out of their hand. This has us needing to cut 2. We've got so much removal and Plague Engineer. I think I'm definitely playing Plague Engineer before the Wildfire. Maybe I just don't play all the Wildfires. And they're not a dedicated Luris deck, so maybe I just go to 2 Spellbomb. How does that look? I'm not sure what you mean, Mark. Codering? Seem heavy-handed on Spellbombs, maybe 1 max. I think 2 is probably fine if I'm cutting the Cling. Like, worst case scenario, it's a 2 mana redraw, I believe. Unless they've got, like, a Leyline of the Void and it never ever hits our yard. But I don't think that's the case. Yeah, sounds good. We've got Turn Inquisition. Nothing to do on turn 2, but we can kill actual anything after that. So hopefully this isn't anything insane. So 1 mana interaction is what I want to find here. Oh, Knight of the Reliquary. Knight is a cool card. Alright, so they're going to know what we're drawing here, which is a Kolaghan's Command. That's a really good one. We are playing 1 copy of Wrenn and 6. If I do want to cast Wrenn and 6 on turn 2, I can't get a basic Swamp here. I would have to get Blood Crypt. I mean, I'm probably going to want to get a Blood Crypt at some point anyway, so I might as well make it now. So then what land do I want to use to do that? I guess we'll just use the Verdant. Say yes. And so again, they know about this Kolaghan's Command. They've got a Giver, an Ink Moth, a Marsh Flats, and a Paladin. So next turn they're gonna play whatever I don't take, right? I think Giver is probably more problematic because if they do draw another creature, assuming I'm taking one here, which I am, I'm forced to kill the Giver first. So I think I'm taking the Giver here and leaving them with Paladin. I'm going to have to avoid an equipment in their top 2 where they're going to be plus a card, but even then, not the biggest concern. So I think I'm just going to take the Giver. And then hope to draw 1 or 2 mana interaction next turn. Motobug. Well, at least this tells me this was the right take, right? Because like they had the option of playing either of those, and they played the Giver. So I think Giver was probably the more problematic card. We didn't draw anything to do now, which is unfortunate. I guess we'll just plan on getting other tap land. I mean, they don't know we don't have anything to do. In fact, from their perspective, we probably have something to do. Yep, we knew about that one. So their hand has 2 unknowns. They drew one off of Bobble, and they drew a card for turn. They do have Inkmoth and Sigarda's Aid, but now we're going to have Kolaghan's Command up. At a minimum, we can always shatter the hammer as a way to not die to the Giver protecting the creature. We've got basic Swamp, so let's make this Stomping Ground. And again, they know about Kolaghan's Command. Thoughtseize is a good one, but I think I'm going to save it next turn when I can double spell. So for now, I'm going to hold up Kolaghan's Command. And again, if they go for the kill with the intention of protecting their creature, I can always just shatter the hammer. I still died a second hammer, but as long as they don't have 2 hammers here and a land to cast them both, I should be good. And then second mode on Kolaghan's Command likely to be kill the Giver, so I can shock this, and then shatter the hammer if they go for it. And then if they don't go for it, I should probably just use the Kolaghan's Command anyway. This might be just put Aluris to hand. And if it is, we've got the Thoughtseize. Yeah. Alright, so Kolaghan's Command. I guess we'll make you discard. There's not really a good second mode. And then have to kill the Giver first, or else the Giver would just protect whatever, right? They did draw the hammer. Okay. Alright, so this is just discard a card, force out a hammer, unfortunately. We still do have the Maelstrom Pulse, though, so this is actually just fine. And we've drawn Terminate. So now what am I doing? They've got Luris in hand. Whatever I kill here, they can just recast unless I take the Luris with the Thoughtseize. So I think that's the plan. We could lead Thoughtseize, and that can help us determine what we're going to hit with the Pulse. It's just a Luris. So their hand is a Forest. Or sorry, Basic Plains. I think I'm going to fetch Basic Swamp. We've got lots of black spells in hand, so let's get a Swamp. And then Pulse, and then probably just hitting the Giver. This isn't super effective. Like if they find 2 artifacts, they can use this ability, but they're only at 1. I guess if they activate Inkmoth, that could be problematic. What if they like activate Inkmoth, play Mishra's Bauble? They can then equip it to Inkmoth, and we would just die immediately. So do I actually want to just kill the hammer here? It feels strange. I have to kill this now because I am at 11, and we would just otherwise get hit for 11. So, I mean, I am pulsing either the hammer or the Giver this turn, and I guess it's just the Giver. Try to dodge an artifact off of the top. They have the land, so like a 1-mana artifact would just kill us. Alternatively, I could just kill the hammer, still die to a hammer off of the top. I suppose I could continue to hold up Terminate, but I would still die to an artifact equipping the Inkmoth because this would just protect it. So I guess I'm just doing this now and hoping for no artifact off of the top. Because if I decay this, right, the Liliana Edict is still pretty bad. Yeah. So no artifact off of the top, please. What's up, Mom? And yeah, these swamps are pretty dope. They're different too. This one's got like a little bird up here, and like the art's a little bit lighter. All right, this is all excellent for us. So they played a Plains, right? Yeah, they did. All right, so now we can Liliana Edict and hold up a Terminate. This all feels really good. This will get Basic Mountain. We haven't used the Basic Mountain yet, right? No, we haven't. All right, so we're gonna Edict here. If they want to activate the Ink Moth, we can just terminate whatever. We are at 9, so maybe not the best time to cast a Bob. I mean, I feel pretty good playing the Bob. It'll get dangerous at some point. This is likely to go after the Liliana, and I do think I want to keep the Liliana alive if I can. Don't know that they're playing any protection spells. Don't think they usually do. Another Paladin, okay. Wildfire as soon as I kill this, sure. Guess we'll lead here, see what it has us finding. I wonder if they play a basic Swamp. They don't. Alright, well I guess we get to just play out our hand now. Empty theirs was another Sigarda's Aid. If they attack the Liliana, I will block. I think Liliana's probably worth more than this Bob. They hit a land. That's good for us. So now if they attack, definitely going to block. And if they don't, feeling good. As long as I don't have a particularly mean Dark Confidant, I'm going to feel great. Let's kill this. 2 lands isn't great either. Alright, Bob, close it out, please. Don't be too mean. Ink Moth, okay. So we die to another hammer now, right? Because they could auto-equip with Sigarda's Aid. Unless we find a way to interact. There's a Wildfire, that definitely counts. That's what we revealed. We hit a Kroxa as well. It's pretty good. I guess I could escape it right now if I get... Actually, I can't. I'd have to fetch Shock, and that would have me maybe dying to Bob. So I should probably just avoid that happening. So that they know about this Verdant. So they'll go to 12, we'll attack them to 10. And then they're not quite dead. Next turn I could activate Ravine, attack for 6. I could get Basic Forest, activate Ravine, and then put them to 1 off of Kroxa hitting the field. So not quite dead yet. Bolt. Does that change the math in any way? We still just attack for 6 here. Escape a Kroxa. If I go down to 5, there's no way that the Bob kills me because it's only 2 Bloodbraids in the deck. Yeah, so let's lead here. Make them discard their card. Maddie Johansson, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. It was an Ornithopter. Okay, so do I just get the Basic Forest here? I mean, they're dead next turn anyway, so it's probably safer to just attack for my 2, since they're just dead next turn no matter what. Yeah. Do you see, like, I think, like, the blacks are a little different in the background. Like, this one's a little darker, right? This one's a little brighter. Alright, and again, I can't die to the Bob at this point. We even revealed it in the right order. We're at 4. All right, so yeah, they should just be dead here. Unless there's something crazy I'm not thinking about. Let's just cast the Bloodbraid. What am I doing? Cool. Yeah, I feel like that's how that matchup should go. The trees and the grass are different too? Yeah, probably. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. The trees in this one are much taller. I don't know why they're different. I wonder if it was the artist. It's Seb McKinnon, right? Yeah, I wonder if they just had 2 different drafts and they couldn't decide which of the 2 they wanted to use. They said just here, take both. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Got a pretty big crowd pretty quickly, which is nice. It's pretty encouraging. Usually I don't get this kind of crowd for until we're like an hour or 2 in, or 30 minutes in. One to 0 so far. Hope everyone's having a good whatever day of the week it is today. Monday. Let's go first. We need to find the land on the play. If we don't find land, this hand doesn't do much of anything. We don't have anything to do on turn 1. If I knew what we were playing against, I think I would keep. Well, if the hand's good against what we're playing against. But if in the dark, I don't think this is good enough. This hand loses to an awful lot. How to tell if you're a Jund player, part 2645. Have you spent $50 on 2 full art basic swamps? My 2 were gifted. Also, I don't think they're nearly that expensive. Online. This hand's better. Let's keep. We're playing 1 copy of Wrenn and 6, so for that reason I think I'm keeping Wooded Foothills over the Nurturing Peatland. I guess I could just keep Peatland, Blackleaf Cliffs, Foothills. Let's do that, actually. This hand's going to be very good versus a specific set of decks, but pretty poor versus a few others. Same was true for the last hand, so maybe trading 7 cards for 6 cards isn't great. Whoa. Kiki-Jiki something or other. As far as a Kiki combo is concerned, I've got plenty of removal to disrupt it. Second Kiki is pretty bad as long as they've got another in their hand rotting. I don't think I'm taking Bolt, although Bolt is going to be the best card if I draw something like a Bob on exactly turn 2. I think I'm probably just taking the Charm, though. Second Kiki makes first Kiki a lot better. Or, sorry, it makes first Kiki a lot worse. Like, if I take 1 Kiki-Jiki, it's basically not doing anything. There's a Flooded Strand. So, if I draw a Bob here, it'll be the punish. Of course, there it is. Do I even play it? I guess not. Bob's going to be very strong moving forward, assuming it gets to live, so I don't think I'm going to throw it into a Bolt that we know of. Jeskai. I guess probably pretty apparent from Kiki-Jiki Hollowed Fountain. Don't think I have to play around Blood Moon. Let's get Stomping Ground. We've got Peatland, so. Kroxa is interesting. I mean, I guess I just do that. I don't really want to cast the Bob into the Bolt that I know of. I'll maybe wait until I have more discard to pair it with. This is true. This is true. Yeah, you did gift it. We're doing well here, I think. Obviously, I wish I would have taken the Bolt, knowing that we had a Bob on top. But you said the entire package plus shipping is what made it expensive. Yeah, that makes some sense. They're going to look real good as soon as paper events start back up, right? Alright, Inquisition or Thoughtseize, please. I want to get this Bob going. Basic Swamp. Hey, speak of the devil. Alright, let's play this. And then next turn, at the opponent's end step, I'll probably sacrifice the Peatland looking for some amount of action. Going down to below 4 lands might be dangerous, though, because if we find the Bloodbraid, we won't be able to cast it. But there's also some good purpose in putting cards in the yard for Kroxa. So I think Digging Fraction probably fine here. Second Bob. Okay, well, I mean, second Bob makes me a little bit more secure in playing the first one. We can't quite escape Kroxa yet. Let's cast this, see if maybe they counter. They just let it stick. I could die if they're playing, like, Deceiver Exarch, or a Pestermite, so maybe I just pass. Thing is, like, if I don't play second Bob here, this one just gets bolted and my entire turn is kind of deleted. I just don't want to... I don't want to just die here, though. Let's just pass, let this thing get bolted, hold up my removal. And then I'm going to probably save the bolt for a Kiki. The push will be for whatever other combo piece they've got. Freewheelin' says, first time catching me live, welcome. What do I think of the new Old Border Thoughtseize? Will I get them or will I stick with the original? I'm going to stick with my originals. I try my best not to buy cards that I already have. Although if I didn't have Thoughtseizes already, I'd probably get them. I mean, in general, I like just getting the original printings. They, in my experience, have tended to retain value pretty well. We've only got 2 red sources. I don't ever really need more than 1 green. Let's just get a Blood Crypt. This is a black-red deck, not a black-green deck. So their hand has 2 Kikis and other stuff. Let's play a Bob, hold up my removal again. Hope they can't counter or otherwise kill this one. Boo. Alright, so do I want to just die to the combo? I think I'm going to play the Goyf, because there's only one card I don't know about at this stage. Okay, so I mean, if the one card I don't know about is the combo piece, then so be it. But like the more I let them just untap, like draw go, I feel like it's the farther the behind I'm just falling. So I gotta get some pressure down at some point, right? You've poured everything you can into Bling Jun Ferona, all expeditions, block toppers, promo arts, the works. Can't wait to show off how much I care about going 3-2. I actually, I had Jun all blinged out. Once upon a time, I had all of the original expeditions, not the new ones. I had all the FNM promos, all of that. But then I decided to sell it and build just originals so I can build 2 other decks. So now I've got a few decks as opposed to just foil Jund. Worked for me. Alright, so unfortunately we've drawn basic forests. We would usually be able to play Kroxa and hold up removal, but we cannot escape Kroxa off of basic forest, and we can't cast either of our removal spells off of basic forest. They didn't have a counter, so I think they won't have it again now. The question is, did they draw the combo piece exactly now? If their combo piece is something like Felidar Guardian, they can pay 4, flicker a land. That doesn't put them up to Kiki mana. I think I'm going to go for it. And just hope they don't have it. They didn't have it last turn, so they would have to have gotten lucky and drawn it exactly now. And I do play Ren and 6, so I'll keep the Peatlands if I can only keep one. And then, again, I'm hoping that they haven't drawn the combo piece that just kills me. They didn't have it last turn. This is a logic knot. I don't know why they didn't just pay a mana as opposed to like exiling. Did they care about these cards being exiled for any reason? Kind of weird. Maybe playing a land here is a mistake, because if I draw a Liliana and I want to plus it, I don't really have a card that I want to discard now. Oh, you're saying just to Shrink Goyf? Oh, they drew it. Oh, they bin to Kiki? When did they bin a Kiki? Oh, to the Croxa. So I tracked their hand incorrectly, and I died because of it. Unfortunate. Yeah, so this goes infinite. Bummer. Alright, I'll be more careful. I forgot that the Croxa had them discarding a card. This sideboard doesn't look great. I guess Brutality is probably fine to take an instant or sorcery. This only stops the combo if they're playing Felidar Guardian, because you can name Cat and make them all 0/3s, which doesn't attack her very much. I think I'm just bringing in the 2 Brutalities. I guess they could be playing Snapcaster, so Spellbomb a consideration. Their deck probably plays Snapcaster. Terminate kills combo pieces. Bolt is kills combo pieces less often. It kills the Kiki, but that's it. I think versus Restoration Angel, Liliana in general going to be a little bit weaker. Kolaghan's Command doesn't kill a lot, but against counter spells, I like being able to do something meaningful at instant speed. Cling probably going to be fine as well. So I need 2 more cuts here. You've been wondering if say Veil gets banned, does Fulminator make a return back to the deck, or is Wildfire just better? That's a good question. I can't say I know the answer. I think in a vacuum, assuming you're not playing things like Kolaghan's Command, Liliana, Last Hope, I think the 2 mana card is always going to be better than the 3 mana card. But if you're playing Kolaghan's Command and other things to get it back, like Liliana, Last Hope, I think the merit of Fulminator goes up. You still can't Fulminator on turn 3 while on the draw, right? Which is the big drawback. What else are we cutting here? I gotta make 2 cuts in a minute. I think I'm going to cut Terminate here. Terminate's only purpose is to disrupt the combo, and the combo doesn't come up until later in the game anyway. And I think I'm also going to get rid of the Pulse. Just a thick sorcery speed answer doesn't seem like something I'm super interested in. Yeah, let's go first. Yuck, not keeping this. Keeping this. And then bottoming probably Fatal Push. I've got the Terminate to disrupt the combo later, and this doesn't need Revolt, so I think it's more reliably going to get it done. It does cost more and is therefore more susceptible to stuff like Mana Leak and Logic Knot. But I think Terminate's still on average just going to be better. And I'm going to keep the Croxa as well, because Croxa is a pretty big powerhouse, right? So let's shock this, play a Spell Bomb. And then we don't know that the Bob is going to get to live, but this is still probably the best window I have to play it. It's a fine draw. The issue with waiting, I think, on the Bob is if they don't have the Bolt and their answer is instead something like Mana Leak, that just opens us up to actually getting Mana Leaked, whereas on the play they don't have 2 mana yet. I don't think I want to wait until I can find a discard spell to pair with it. Ideally, they just don't have the way to deal with it. Yeah. Wildfire also getting us out from under a Blood Moon is an interesting point. They have it. Bummer. Ready for the basic forest off the top? Oh man, that would have been good to pair. I guess I just do that now. We're not really pairing it with anything, but this is hard to pair with something anyway because it costs 2 as opposed to 1. I guess the greatest chance it has to hit is the sooner the better. So let's just do that now. Like, the odds this misses are low, but not 0. They've got Purge, Purge, Charm, Path. Well, I think I'm just going to take the Charm. Everything else in their hand is fairly redundant. If I want, I can use the Spell Bomb end step just to try to find more action. Probably off of a Blood Crypt if I do. I think I need to find probably Tarmogoyf or something. Bloodbraid would be great too. Just ways to start multi for wanting this hand. Let's just go ahead and pop the Spell Bomb. Do need to find some action. I think they're favored in a draw-go game, so I think I really need to find some action before they're able to get their feet under themselves. Renin 6 is nice, but they do have a Purge. We'll at least be able to get a land back. There's the Goyf. So we can Renin 6, assuming this resolves. Buy back the land, play a Tarmogoyf. It's a pretty okay turn. Goyf can't get Purged, but it can get Pathed. Not going to get basic forest here because it doesn't escape Kroxa. So we've got 2 black, 2 red, 1 green. Probably just went more black and red. Is there any reason to get Stomping Ground for 2 green? Do we ever need a lot of black for any reason? I guess if we get Path and we draw an Inquisition or a Thoughtseize, we're going to want to do that before escaping. So I do actually want more black here in the event that comes up. And I can't get Overgrown Tomb. I don't want to get a basic, so I guess that means we're getting the Blood Crypt anyway. Oh no, we need a green source to cast the Goyf. What am I talking about? So yeah, I guess we're getting Stomping Ground then. That's the only actual option, given that I said we're not getting basic forest. Alright, so I expect probably a Path and a Purge. They don't have to Path now to give me the extra mana though. Makes sense. Just gonna have to work through all this stuff. Yeah, they could even just purge my Kroxa with while it's still in the field, which would be annoying. Cascade Bluffs. Alright, so their hand is these 3 plus 1 unknown. I'll lead on an attack. Second Kroxa is nice if they purge the first one. Now we're hoping they purge with the trigger on the stack. Because if we escape one, it's going to be much harder to escape the second. More black. Cast a Kroxa. There's also some incentive to actually purging it now, right? Because if I escape it, they're going to have to discard another card. Alright, so they've got Mountain and 1 other unknown. So I think we're officially pulling ahead here, assuming that this other Kroxa isn't going to get nuked. And their hand's going to be on empty. Yeah, so I mean, as long as their next draw step isn't insane, we should be good to go. We are missing 1 card in the yard. So maybe that's something that bottlenecks us. Yeah, they've exiled. All of their removal has been exile so far. Jawari Disruption. Interesting. Alright, so a fetch line next turn would be good because we can escape the Kroxa. Still having to dodge a counter, obviously. If they had a land, I think they probably would have played it because otherwise they would discard. They could just be hoping to represent a counter. That's good, because now they can't counter it. And this was the reason to get more black, right? Because I said if I draw a discard spell, I want to have double black for the Kroxa. They do Restoration Angel, though. Interesting. Still going to cast the Kroxa. They're going to flash this in response. They are short of mana to Kiki, though. So even if they just draw the combo, they won't be able to kill us. So feeling okay. We want to dodge more paths, more Snapcasters, more purges. So not out of the woods yet. But if they brick here, I'm going to feel really good. Like if they draw land here, they just die. Because we can terminate this and hit for exactly 9. So a brick here would be great. Wall. Okay, it's annoying. Buys them time. Still want to dodge a path. Snapcaster doesn't do it at this stage because they can't do it yet. I guess they can do it next turn. So Purge would be about the worst case. We also want to dodge a path, though. Also want to dodge a Snapcaster. So a good chunk we're hoping to dodge. Big draw step. That's good. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is I think I'm going to attack first and let this trigger resolve. If they go to 6 here, I can then terminate the wall and then just kill them. Also, if they like flash in a Snapcaster here, I can bolt the Snapcaster, terminate the wall, and that also kills them because they'll lose 3 to discarding nothing, and then they'll take 6. So let's let this trigger resolve. Alright, alright, so they don't just die now. Actually, they do, because I bolt them. So we get to terminate the wall out of the way. And then just shoot them. Lethal. Could someone tell me when Grixis Death Shadow would be favored in a meta over Jund Death Shadow? I think that the Jund threats are just better on average, which I think is why the Jund colors are so attractive. Like out of green, it's kind of you just get Tarmogoyf, right? And I think Tarmogoyf just on better needs less work to be good than something like the Stormwing Sprite or whatever it's called. The 1/1 that like whenever you cast a spell it gets bigger. Because like when you're playing blue, it's pretty much just the Sprite, and then when you're playing green, it's pretty much just the Goyf. Obviously, sideboard cards factor in. If you're playing green, you get stuff like Veil of Summer. If you're playing blue, you get stuff like Mystical Dispute. I think Veil of Summer is almost always better than Mystical Dispute, and I think Goyf on average is easier to make work than Stormwing. So if you're looking at it from a 2-card versus 2-card comparison, I think Jund is just going to be better most of the time. Any changes here? Don't think so. Oh, and Scourge better than Angler. Also true. What's up, KO? I think Grixis is better. I think Jund can't. Sorry, I think Grixis can't play Scourge because like the cards that you're filling the Grixis deck with, like they don't necessarily contribute to direct damage. So like Scourges you can enable pretty easily by just bolting their face, right? But I mean, like Grixis plays Bolt, but they don't always play like things like Swift Spear, Bomat Courier, Soul Scar Mage. They usually don't play Soul Scar Mage anyway, but they don't usually play the creatures that would reliably turn it on, right? I think that might be the reason. Jund doesn't play those cards anymore. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, recently I know that they used to play Bomat and Swift Spear. I know a lot of people now are playing things like Hex Drinker and Knight of the Ebon Legion, which don't have haste, which does make Scourge worse. So I mean, I don't have a good answer if Swift Spear and Bomat are no longer being played a lot. All right, obviously can't keep this. This is better. Keep. And then I think I'm bottoming probably the Kroxa. The opponent's kept a 7. I'll probably Brutality on 2 in hopes that this means our Liliana can stick on 3. Inquisition or Thoughtseize would be good here, because then maybe I can play a Goyf on 2, a Liliana on 3. There'll be 2 cards I would not have seen by then. There it is. But this can at least maybe make me confident to curve out a little bit. So they've got a Path, a Jace, and an Archmage's Charm. Alright, so Charm is going to be up by the time I get to Liliana. But if I don't just take the Path here, this Jace can kind of run away. I need creatures to threaten the Jace, right? I think what I'm going to do here is take the Jace, because that's the card I most easily lose to. Next turn, I can Brutality to clear the way for either the Goyf or the Liliana. If I take the Charm, the Liliana can stick, and if I take the Path, if I take the Path, the Goyf gets to stick. If I don't take the Jace though, and I just like plan on playing the Goyf, Jace just unsummons the Goyf, and then I have no pressure for it. And Jace zeroing is really hard to race with the Liliana. So I think I'm just gonna take the Jace since I don't have a good answer to it now. And the next turn I can Brutality to inform what I do on my third turn. In the dark, do I keep 5 land Thoughtseize Bob? If I'm on the play, probably. If I'm on the draw, it's a little slow. Bloodbraid's a good draw. I think I'm still probably just casting this Brutality here. I don't think I want to get Basic Forest. So what I might do here is just go ahead and get the Stomping Ground now. Because if I decide to go the Tarmogoyf route, I can get this untapped. Get this in tapped and effectively gain life, air quotes. So I think I'm gonna Stomping Ground and Duress mode. Reveal your hand, please. Alright, they've got double Archmage's Charm. Archmage's Charm is very strong. I think I just have to take the Path now, given that they've got double Charm, because if I play Liliana now, they're just going to Charm it. I mean, I can play Goyf next turn, and that's going to get Charmed too. But leaving them with Archmage's Charm and Path means that they can double spell on turn 4, and that's how I could very easily fall behind. I think I have to take the Path, even though Archmage's Charm is better. Doesn't feel great. Second Charm is a pretty good find for the opponent. You were thinking Grixis played Snaps and Street Wraiths as well. I was kind of thinking Grixis would be played if Combo took over. They usually don't play Street Wraith anymore because then you can't companion Lurrus, and Lurrus adds a lot. Oh, disgusting. Silver lining to this is we get to resolve Liliana. This is going to turn off the Cascade. I would love to play the Bob, but they just boing it. I guess we're going to resolve Liliana. And then if I have to discard a card here, I guess I'm just ditching the... I don't even know. All my creatures are good, but I have to fight the opponent's hand containing double Archmage's Charm. So, I mean, I might want to just ditch the Bloodbraid, as crazy as that may sound. The Cascade gets turned off anyway, and if I ditch the Bloodbraid, if I draw a land next turn, I can double spell and empty my hand to make Liliana asymmetrical. So I think, crazy as it may sound, in the face of Bloodbraid... in the face of Teferi, I'll ditch the Bloodbraid. They discarded a Tarn, so their hand is double Charm. And then, assuming that they're going to counter whatever I play, I guess I'll lead on Goyf, because I wish that one gets countered more. I don't know. They're just going to draw to dig for lands. Alright, so this gives me a really good window to find a land then, right? Because, like, they could counter one thing and bounce the other. But they can't bounce both things. So, really, really want to find a land here, untapped. It's like Ravine and Blackleaf Cliffs wouldn't do it. Just another Goyf. Alright, well, plus ditch redundant Goyf. And but bad as it sounds, I think I have to play this Goyf just because it threatens the Teferi and forces them to minus. Also, this is a little less susceptible to a lightning bolt. Not hitting a land there was pretty unfortunate. I would have loved a land just like play both my things and keep plussing. Pretty big miss. Yep, that's expected. This Teferi was a pretty good draw. It was the one card we didn't know about. I mean, we've got a Liliana ticking up. They play lots of burn spells though, so I think planning on ultimating is not super realistic. They could also just purge it, right? Wall. Alright, well, Wall's gonna make Edicting worse. We still have a window to hit a land here. That's good too. I guess I should probably plus first such that the opponent discards that information. If they discard the only thing Inquisition can take, that would bite me. But I think I do want to plus first so they discard all that info. And then between the two creatures, I think I actually want to keep the Goyf. Goyf doesn't get purged. And also Goyf attacks past the wall. So I crazy as it sounds, I think I'm pitching the Bob. And then I can Inquisition into Tarmogoyf. And then maybe pop off an ultimate. Oh, they just have combo. I mean, I'm going to get to ultimate them, though. They don't have a way to actually pressure this Liliana unless they find a burn spell. They're going to have too few lands to combo. Yeah, they're going to dig for it, I guess. I guess they could just play Kiki-Jiki and attack it. That's one way to do it, right? And then my Edict doesn't kill it because they've got Wall, and then they could Restoration next turn. So, yeah, I mean, they could just Kiki and attack my Liliana. That'd be bad. Their draw's been pretty good. My draw's been average. But that first Teferi really messed me up. Interesting. I guess they're just trying to draw lightning bolts. Drawing a lightning bolt would make this line look really smart. But if they don't hit it here, the ultimate could be pretty potent. I guess Helix would work too. Purge would still work now that they've got two lands. Alright, ultimate. Let's put creatures in one pile. What if I just give them one land, like their worst land? Like, if they keep the creatures, it's not great for me, but then we hit all of their lands. If I put the land over here, what are they likely to keep? Probably just the lands. I think these piles are probably good. Like, they almost just have to keep the lands, right? Yeah. Maybe it's possible that I could have put one more land to get another land for free, but let's hope they don't have a leak here. Cool. Alright. I mean, we're still in danger to a potential combo, which makes me nervous. I think if I put two lands with the creatures, they'd probably keep the creatures. So I think my piles were good there. Now we want to find blood braids. Lands are not great. Alright, let's attack. They're at a pretty high life total, unfortunately. I could just hold this to bluff. I think I probably just should. There's no real... If I play the land, I don't really gain anything, but they gain something. Okay, they just have another one. Alright, well, if I played the land, they would definitely just go for it. I still have just one new card, so they should probably just go for it anyway. But I guess there's a world where they don't, and then maybe I find a way to kill this. Yeah, I mean, I think I probably could have won game one. But I tracked their hand poorly, and there was one extra card that I didn't know about, and that was the combo. Alright, well, holding the card paid off. That kills Kiki. So if they go for it, we actually have the way to break it up. There's the Snapcaster. Yeah, now they probably don't even have to go for the combo because they just kill me over 2 turns anyway. Pretty lucky that they hadn't even seen one of those yet, but I guess they're going to find it sooner or later. I'm going to play the land now so that they think there's a greater chance their combo works. Maybe they go for it. And then when they target the Restoration Angel, I have to wait until it resolves, so that way they can target the Kiki again. Because otherwise they're just gonna target like a Snapcaster or something. So let's return a creature, shoot something. So we're still getting smacked for 8 here. Our Bloodbraid is going to have to hit like our Maelstrom Pulse to get rid of the Angel or something. The other Terminate would work too. But then we're still going to be at 2 to a deck full of burn spells. Alright, and they have the Bolt too, sure. They don't get the Snap Trigger if they target their Kiki first. How I did it. Oops. It was a fun match, at least. I wish I had played a little bit more carefully in that first game. I think I probably could have taken that first one. Yeah, they're not liquor bottles. They're airsoft BB bottles. All of my empty ones I keep because they're nice. They're like aluminum. Might use them for something. Who knows? I'm not a hoarder. You are. Spunky says, drink some water. I will do that. That's a good idea. It sounds good. This is looking like Blood Crypt and Inquisition here. Maybe even Mulligan. Sick. Yeah, I've got 5 empty BB bottles here. I just knocked them all over. All right, Blood Crypt first. Infect. This matchup is a cakewalk, I say as I lose. Let's probably just take the creatures. Maybe I take the the spells that protect the creatures. Scale up is pretty bad, so I'm probably not taking that. And like their hierarch is fine, but it's not an actual infect creature. I should probably just take the threat. But having 2 ways to protect something could be problematic. I think I'm actually going to take the Blossoming Defense. Because like if at some point they have multiple protection spells, I don't have multiple removal spells. See ya, Spunky. They did mulligan to 6, and their hand was fine. That's a good draw. I think I probably want to... Is it worth it to play the Kroxa now? I guess they still have a lot of cards in their hands. It's tricky. I should probably just continue holding up my removal spells. It's going to feel pretty hard to lose as long as I do that. So I'll just keep both of my spells up here, and I can keep both my spells up next turn as well while playing Stomping Ground. Then hopefully by then I've found a threat or a land for my threat. If they attack, I'm going to try to kill this in the second main, or at the end step. And then if they want to protect it, that's a-okay with me. Push can kill something even if it's pumped, so I think probably best to use the bolt first. So they use the noble. Alright, so that's gonna get us to Kroxa. Let's just shock this, play Kroxa. This kind of tells the opponent we've got something to do for a black mana, which is not information I want to give away. But I have to do this or else I can't hold up the push for whatever reason. So yeah, maybe I sequenced my lands poorly. Maybe I could have made it so that it was less obvious. I needed to Blood Crypt on one. Spellskite's annoying. We can push it though. Goyf. Okay, that's good. So now what I'm probably gonna do is just push this now, play Goyf. I could wait, but then the opponent might have like another Vines or Blossoming Defense, and I do want this thing to actually die. So I have to do it now. So they've got Scale Up and 3 unknowns. I could be in danger to a Blighted Agent. There's a Blighted Agent. Another removal spell would make this easier, though. That's not it. If I just slam this Bloodbraid, I could potentially just die. Scale Up and a +4/+4 has them killing me. Another option I have is fetch, play Kroxa, but then still I'm dead to a Scale Up and a +4/+4. At least if I cast Bloodbraid, this means I have a chance of hitting another removal spell. So I think I'm going to Bloodbraid. And then if they've got it, they've got it. I could just do nothing to bluff it, but that doesn't seem like I'm getting very far. Alright, Inquisition's fine. They did have it. So this would have been a kill with these two. This costs 2 mana for a +4/+4, so I feel like I'm not taking that. It's got to be Scale Up or Might. And I think it's going to be Scale Up at this point, because they play a lot of +4/+4s, but fewer Scale Ups, I think, because these don't stack very well. So let's take the Scale Up. And then shields are down. Their thing is unblockable, so I'll attack both. And then we're going to hope they don't draw another Scale Up. Scale Up would kill. They do have a kill over 2 turns. They can give it +4/+4 now and +4/+4 next turn for a total of 10. We are 8 and 8. That puts them down to 3. So we are short. We don't die to Mutagenic Growth, right? Because it would still be 2 + 4 + 1 is 7. They still have to pay 1 to cast Might, which means they can't kick this. And they have to kick it to get the pump. Without the pump, it's just this protection spell. So I think their line here is hope we don't draw removal or a way to kill them. We've got some extra looks in the form of Nurturing Peatlands. We're going to have to get medium lucky here. Any removal spell seals it, I believe. Especially Bolt, because we would just go face. That counts. This is 8. I guess I should draw one now. Actually, wait. I was gonna say I could escape Kroxa now as well. That would really do it. I say if I find a Bolt now, it makes it really easy because I could actually just kill them. Brutality is gonna be excellent. Plague Engineer is gonna be excellent. I think I want the Wildfires for the Ink Moths. This is one of the only ways to proactively kill an Ink Moth, because like we would have to kill an Ink Moth on our own turn, or sorry, on their turn, because it's not a creature on our turn. So Wildfire is a way to kill a creature, is a way to kill an Ink Moth on our turn. I think I'm again cutting some of the Blood Raids because I don't really want to be tapping out a whole lot. I think I'm cutting the Pulse as well. I think all of these do the job much better. Like this and this are both sorceries, but this one costs 3, which is a lot. All of the discard and 1 mana stuff feels good. Let's cut the Cling for sure. All of these cards are excellent. I think I'm gonna cut the Croxas. This has me going kind of light on threats, cutting 2 Blood Braids and 2 Croxas, so definitely not gonna cut any more. Everything else seems very good though. Again, also killing Moth with Lily, but just the ultimate. That's factual. Unless they decide to keep the pile with Ink Moth. Unless I put an Ink Moth on each pile. In which case they still have an Ink Moth. We need one more cut, and again, I'm pretty sure it's not going to be a creature. Maybe it's just a Wildfire. How does that look? I can't cut any more creatures because I would be too threat light, I think. I do need to like close the game as well. I don't want to overboard into answers and not have a way to win. Let's do this. Big brain scenarios, yep. Oh wow, this hand would be the actual nuts with one more land. If this were a black land, I think I might have even considered keeping it, but if I can guarantee a black source on top, I'd keep, but this hand does not a lot if I don't have it. This hand's pretty nutty, too. Keeping this, keeping this, keeping this, keeping this, keeping my 2 lands. I guess I'm bottoming a Terminate. They did mulligan as well. Should probably just lead on Fatal Push this. Or bolt. I probably just want to bolt it. The only way this would bite me is double mutagenic growth. Let's bolt it now. And then I can't run in 6 without an untapped land, but I do have other good things to do. 1/1 mana. Yep. So if I draw untapped land here, I'll probably just run in 6. Yeah, probably. They don't have green mana available. They would have to have exactly mutagenic growth, and they don't really want to use the mutagenic growth on that. And like, I'm aware that if they've got a pump spell, they can attack the Ren and 6 down, but that feels like a game that I'm winning. Like if they're going to use an entire turn trying to kill a Ren and 6, that feels just good for me. Kind of unlucky that I'm choked on black mana. Oh, that's a good counter to the Ren and 6. They can just kill the Ren now by activating. Oh, they're just casting a Might. Oh, they're just going to go for a kill of some kind? Aggressive. Black Source would be good. No. Alright. Well, I didn't think I'd be losing this game, but now it's completely possible. So I think what's going to happen here is the opponent is going to activate Ink Moth and attack, probably pump it with Pendelhaven. I'm going to take the hit for 2, and then in the end step attempt a Fatal Push. That has me in kind of the danger zone, but I mean, I don't have another good way to do this. I guess I could Inquisition, but then I'm still getting hit. Maybe something I should have thought of is that since I wasn't really guaranteed to have multiple black, I should have maybe let on the push. That way I could Inquisition and hold up Bolt. So that was maybe a misstep. This is going up, targeting nothing. Playing this, saying go. This makes you want to bust out the Infect. The Infect can be pretty fun. I played Infect in Legacy for a short period of time. So yeah, they're just going at me. Come on, go for it. No, they're too smart for that. So if they've got a 1 mana protection spell, this line makes a lot of sense from the opponent. Because they just protect it now. Jeez, that's the worst case, right? Because that draws them a card. We need more spot removal. Is land good? I mean, that combos with Renin 6 at a minimum. We'll shock it. Why not? Pretty free. Jeez, they've got Blossoming Defense, a creature, Snakeskin Veil, and Liliana. Well, we've got the Liliana for the creature, so not super worried about that one. Blossoming Defense is the protection spell that buffs their thing the biggest. If they just like draw land, activate this, activate Blossoming Defense, I die. I think I have to take the Blossoming Defense. I mean, I'm still dead over 2 turns to the Snakeskin Veil because this adds a counter to it. But I think I have to take the onboard. Like the 1 turn onboard. They still don't know that I'm out of removal. So they might just connect for 1 again. Yep, I mean they can still go for it next turn with a removal spell. Interesting, they're not playing the Snakeskin Veil. Inquisition's a good one. I guess we just lead there, hope that the one card we don't know about is another Veil of Summer. It's not. It's a Blighted Agent, though. That's fine. I think I just have to take the pump spell. I guess I am shocking here because that lets us get the Liliana into play. This puts shields down. But I think I need to grind away at their resources. We're still going to need to find an answer for this Inkmoth no matter what we do. There is not a land other than the arts. I attack first, right? That lets me attack for 1 more. Alright, so if they have found a pump spell, I die. Actually, no. Yeah, if they find a pump spell, they die. Because they can activate it instead of acting Pendelhaven, they can just activate it that way. I mean, they don't know that we're missing a lightning bolt. Still need to find it. Yep. So this puts me to 9. So I'm dead next turn. I need to find something now. Come on, deck. Boom. I guess if we find Cleansing Wildfire, that's pretty good. Let's just lead on it, I guess. This only hits spells, so there's not really a point in thinning it out first. I guess if we hit another Liliana, I'll want to plus the Liliana. So yeah, let's, I guess, plus first. Ditch that. Yeah, Plague Engineer would also work. So we've got a few good hits. Right. So we want to hit Plague Engineer or Cleansing Wildfire. I think there are 4 of those total. Inquisition does not do it, unfortunately. So as long as they see the line of attack, they got me here. It wasn't a game I thought I was losing on turn 1, but that Veil drawing a card was pretty close to what was enough. They drew plenty of threats. We've had plenty of answers, but it was the Ink Moth. Ink Moth, I think, is the problem. Because like everything else we can kill pretty easily. It's just always a creature. Our Planeswalkers can't touch this. Okay. Maybe I just bring in this other Cleansing Wildfire. We weren't playing all three. Do I cut another threat for real? I don't think I can. Not enough Liliana ulting, yeah. I think cutting another threat is probably bad, but it might be the way to go. Alright. If I can't win the game, we know where I went wrong. Yeah, this is a keeper. I'll have Dark Confidant for turn 2 unless I need to bolt something. But if I need to bolt something, I just do it off of Stomping Ground. This hand looks excellent. For sure playing Bob on 2 to hopefully get some lands and more interaction going. Turn 1 Ink Moth. Interesting. Gotta get a Black Leaf Cliffs. That's good too. I could just do that, but I think it's probably best to continue finding action and lands to cast the action. Short of 4 Mutagenic Growth, I don't even die to that, right? The only reason they play this on turn 1 is to try to attack, right? Don't know. So lands would be good. Red Source would be best. I mean, these are all good as well. I guess I just lead on Inquisition. They could have Veil, but they didn't lead on Ink Moth. They didn't lead on Forest, so that makes me feel like it's less likely they've got it. So let's attack for 2. Then cast Inquisition. Hope to not see a Veil in our future. And again, they led on Ink Moth, so I guess they figured that maybe we don't have it because I didn't cast an Inquisition on turn 1. So that might just be a Soul Read, but I mean, it's hard to not cast this here. They did have it. Brutal. Alright, well, we still have Bolt as a way to interact. Could have had Apostle's Blessing for the Wildfire in turn 1. Yeah, it's possible. I mean, like Wildfire would have blocked it now too, because they could just activate Ink Moth using itself and then just use the green to cast a protection spell on a creature. I mean, I do need lands to like actually be able to fight on the stack. So I mean, the way I lose this game is just not finding lands to cast my spells. Yeah, missing on land there really hurt, but I'm still feeling okay for now. Veil 2 for winning is pretty bad for me. Alright, Bob, I need you to find me like a Blackleaf Cliffs or something. Any land, really. That works. That works too. Nostalgia says, playing Push on turn 1 of game 2 would have been interesting, although your known second land at the time was a Ravine, which makes it harder to imagine that you need double black. I think Stomping Ground was the exact land that punishes you for playing Bolt. Yeah, I mean, my hand was, even though we didn't know what land I was going to draw, we already knew my hand was heavy black, so that would have been a reason to cast a black spell as opposed to a red one, because a way we could lose is getting bottlenecked on the one color that our hand is pretty much all, right? And that's what happened, right? So I think what I want to do here is lead on attack, probably just hold up a couple interactive spells. We've got Bolt and Push already held up, so let's lead on an attack for 2. I wonder if they fetch for like a Dryad Arbor to block. I mean, if they do, I think I just accept. Alright, I could just play Plague Engineer, but that could open me up to a Dismember if they're playing such a thing. But if they were playing a Dismember, I feel like they probably would have killed the Bob by now. It would be nice to add an additional threat to the board. We could do that in the form of Tarmogoyf. So what if I just played Swamp, played Tarmogoyf, held up a Fatal Push? I can hold up Bolt or a Push. If I'm gonna fight, I'm gonna fight End Step. And then if I am gonna fight, I think I would want to use the Bolt because Push is gonna be better later. So I'm gonna want to leave up a red source. So I'm gonna play Mountain. Play a Dryad Arbor. Interesting. Do I kill that? I feel like I probably should. I've got so much removal. I could just play Plague Engineer and name Dryad. It also gets around Veil of Summer. But I think I'm gonna want the Plague Engineer naming Inkmoth. So let's go for the Bolt. Add a creature to the yard. Vines, sure. I'm pretty happy this is occurring now. Terminate's a good reveal. So I think now what I want to do is Cleansing Wildfire the Inkmoth. They could again activate it and cast a protection spell, but then in response I can just kill it again. I feel like I'm so far ahead, I just need to figure out what lines would cause me to lose and then avoid those. We're not quite at the build your own adventure stage. This is again summoning 6, so they've only got 2 mana here. Alright, it looks like they may be going to protect it, and if they do, I could attempt to go for a kind of blowout. They won't have an Infect creature in play anymore. So I would just have to be careful of normal damage. Oh, they're just letting it happen after all of that. Okay. So is an attack worth it? I actually think I should probably hold back. Because I don't want to block with my Dark Confidant. I mean, it's going to be pretty hard to be killed with real damage here. But I mean, if they attack Dryad Arbor, I'm probably blocking with Goyf to like at least force their hand. I do have backup threats, so I think again playing it really safe is probably how I avoid just dying. And then again, like whatever creatures that they have available to them, I'll go for the kill spells at my opponent's next end step. And I think I'm going to use Terminate first just because it's the most expensive. It's going to be harder to cast multiple spells if they cost a lot. Spellskite. Does that change anything? I mean, I still probably want to just kill the Spellskite anyway, so I guess I let this resolve. Spellskite is annoying. Plague Engineer can get around it. And then if they've got another 1-mana protection spell, so be it. And I do think I could target the Dryad Arbor just so that the opponent like moves it over, but I think it's really important that I just kill the Spellskite. Then if they cast protection spell here, I can try again coming up. Bob isn't going to continue doing Dark Confidant style things. This is feeling good. Another Plague Engineer has like gotta nearly lock it up, right? We can play Plague Engineer first. Name Dryad. Right? It'd be weird if Dryad Arbor weren't a Dryad. It's a Dryad. And then this can't be protected any longer. They didn't float green. And now we're feeling pretty good. You don't have any more cheap interaction, but they're just like kind of forced to block from this point on. We can also just Plague Engineer the next thing. Yeah. Here's the deck for all those who are just tuning in, and I'm gonna grab a drink of water before this match starts. How does Spellskite interact with K command? If you shock the Dryad Arbor and Shadow, the Spellskite can Spellskite redirect both modes to itself. Yes, it can. As long as it is a valid target, it can redirect any mode of any spell. As long as it's templated that way. An interesting thing to bring up is, so Kolaghan's command, it's two separate instances of target. It's Shatter target artifact, 2 damage to target creature. If a spell has 2 different targets, but with 1 mode, you cannot redirect it. So an example of that would be Electrolyze. Electrolyze says you may do 2 damage split across however many targets. So since it's only 1 instance of target, I will target this and this instead of I will target this and target this, then it doesn't work. So like Electrolyze, if you go like 1/1, targeting the creature you care about and the Spellskite can't do anything about it, because the one mode on Electrolyze is already targeting it. I guess I should have read the rest of the chat before I answered that, because y'all already got it handled. Let's go first. Accio. I wonder if they're a Harry Potter fan. We're going to need green, but the sand's good otherwise. Uh-oh. Did we find the resident Ponza player? Or maybe it's Heliod. It's white. Okay, we're playing Heliod. Thank God. I just don't want to ever play against Ponza again. I hate that deck. Alright, well, we're going to still need to find the green source. And any land, really, because then we can cast Liliana, at least. Alright, what are we using to kill that? Probably the push. You know, well, I guess we're just killing both anyway. I could just kill one thing so that if I can draw the land, I can Liliana Edict the other thing. But Liliana's probably good just going up as well. So let's just kill both. And then would really like to hit a land here. Not quite. Would I play Sinkhole over Cleansing Wildfire if Sinkhole becomes legal in Modern? I don't think it will, because that card is absurd. And yes, I would definitely play it, because they don't get another land. It just dies. I don't think Sinkhole would ever be in Modern, but I mean, I suppose it's possible. Excellent. All right, well, we had a calculated risk here. We needed to hit a green source. Even any other land would have been good, but we have not hit it. Alright, so the opponent passing with nothing. I guess that means Collected Company. Oh, I guess they're doing something. This could still mean collect a company. How else would they push Modern Horizons 2 packs? Yeah, I don't know. They don't have company? No way. We actually get to kill this thing if we can draw the land. Boo. I guess we can cast it. Wow. Alright. Single and him? Oh, him. Him would never. It would be way too nutty. Oh no, they can attack for 3. Or I guess 2. Hey, deck. I'm calling in a favor here. I need any untapped land that you have to offer. Any untapped land that you have to offer, I will accept. Any untapped land. Any untapped land. Thank you. Alright, so let's get green, obviously. We don't have second red yet, so this looks like a stomping ground recipe. Say yes. This is also going to make it so Heliod is a lot less likely to turn on, which is nice. We could still just die if they draw a spike feeder. But I don't have much to say about that, given my hand. Mind Twist? You're going deep, huh? Okay, they just drew it. Okie doke. Heliod. I like the Cleansing Wildfires because you can kill the Utopia Sprawled lands. Engineer also good because it can disrupt the Spike Feeder as long as it doesn't enter with another counter on it. The Brutality is a way to kill a thing. It can also take Collected Company. So these are the maybes. Well, this is the definite. I'm definitely bringing in the Plague Engineer. Let's take out Cling. I think I'm going to take out 1 copy of Push. Inquisition and Thoughtseize are pretty bad top decks, but it feels pretty important to try to take a Heliod. I think I'm going to cut the Kolaghan's commands. They don't really kill a whole lot, and all of their removal, if they have it, is going to be exile-based. Vestivar Redeemed Posture check. That's pretty timely. Where did my lumbar pillow go? Oh, it's right here. Aha. Sounds to me like I lack imagination. If one thing I'm dreaming of doing with Moxjet is him on turn 1. They're going to put Moxjet into Modern? No. They're going to make only Moxjet. That's the only Mox getting printed. You heard it here first. All the other Moxes are too good, but Moxjet sucks, so they're going to put that one in Modern Horizons too. Alright, we need 3 more cuts. Kroxa doesn't seem like it's going to be that impressive. I think I'm going to cut a Kroxa and I'm going to cut a Goyf. All my other things seem like they're going to be a little bit stronger. Yeah. Oh, we need 1 more cut still. Brutal. Let's cut... Liliana's one of my only good answers to the Auriok champion, so I have to keep those. Maybe just a Wildfire. This card's got pretty niche uses, but when it is good, it is good. Dark Ritual into him and Thoughtseize. Dece. It's probably pretty good, right? This hand's probably pretty good. We're missing second black for the Liliana. But if they've got the Utopia Sprawl, we've got the Cleansing Wildfire for it, and we've got some good ways to interact. So this looks like a keep. The mountain's being a little awkward. It should spoil that they are only reprinting Urza's Tower and Mine in Modern Horizons 2, and that their power plant and they banned the power plant. Oh, that would be the troll. That would be the troll of the century. And they do some pretty good trolling without trying. Hey, they got the Sprawl. Swamp Marks, Dark Ritual, Him ×2. Aiden, you're living large. Alright, we found the second black source for Liliana. That's good. I guess that means we can get Blood Crypt here. Maybe it's Overgrown Tomb. We've got red here, red here. Nah, it's still probably Blood Crypt. We've already got double green here. That seems like enough. So Blood Crypt, yes. Wildfire. Get rid of the Utopia Sprawl. This is the best case for the Wildfire. I guess after them just having 2 Utopia Sprawls on the land. I mean, we 1 for 0'd them. I guess 0 for 1. Or whatever it is. Aiden, if nothing else, you can dream, right? Alright, we get the Liliana Edict that. You just want the confluences in Modern? The confluences are sweet. I could definitely see that being good. Or, I could definitely see that being sweet, but not too good. So, I mean, if confluences get printed into Modern, I think I would be happy on a personal level. I could have Brutality that, but I think it's probably good to get the Liliana into play. I'm going to almost have to save the second Liliana for an Auriok champion, because I did mention that Liliana is really my only good answer to that. Ooh, Skyclave is dirty. I could just Liliana Edict that, but again, I did just mention that I need the Lilianas for Auriok champions. So I think what I'm going to do here is probably just Goyf and Brutality. I could escalate the Brutality in order to attempt to fade a Collected Company. I would have to discard the Lightning Bolt, though. Or maybe I just discard the Terminate. Like, the Bolt is already going to pretty easily disrupt whatever combo they have, right? And it costs a single mana. So yeah, maybe the Bolt is just more useful. And then a damage race, maybe it goes face. Company is so bad for me here that I think I actually do want to escalate. And then play Tarmogoyf. It could also take Path. There are a few relevant things that it can take, but I think most relevant is the Company. So let's escalate this once, killing this. I could just ignore this, but I need this to die so that way if they do have Auriok Champion, I get to Edict it cleanly. So we'll 2-mode it. Reveal your hand, -2/-2. You and you. Pay my mana. And then I guess I'm just ditching the Terminate for the reasons I just outlined. So we'll hope that they've got only 1 copy of something I can take. I could just brick here, which would be unfortunate. So hoping for not a brick. Alright, it's a brick. They've got another Skyclave. I mean, I think I still have to play the Tarmogoyf. They're going to get to eat it. But, I mean, then I can bolt it, continue keeping the board empty, and it does create more pressure. When I kill the Skyclave, I am going to get a 2/2, which is not nothing. There's the Skyclave that we knew about, and they played the land. They played the new card out of their hand instead of playing the Pendelhaven, which is a little strange to me. Croaks is a good hit. This punishes them for not keeping the Pendelhaven, because I imagine they're not discarding Spike Feeder, so like they would have wanted to play the Pendelhaven there. I could Liliana plus, which actually seems better, right? I can still bolt the Skyclave. That means I'm not casting the Croxa, but they've only got they're gonna go down to 1 card in hand anyway, and this just has us with a Liliana in play. So yeah, that's Liliana here. I'll still be able to Lightning Bolt. We're gonna plus discarding Croxa, which means they'll discard without the information that their Skyclave is about to die. I'm assuming they're ditching the Pendelhaven here, and then I guess I just save the Bolt. I do definitely want to bolt though, because that's going to be the next card in the yard for escaping Croxa purposes. I don't think they're ever blocking here, but in the event that they do for whatever reason, I guess I can attack. And this doesn't get veiled, so I guess I can wait. Make them make a decision first. Like, Spike Feeder is more important to kill. Like, they play the Spike Feeder and I don't just kill it and they draw Heliod off the top, I could die. There's the Spike Feeder. I guess this has the ability of pay 2, remove a counter, put a counter on something else. They don't quite have the mana to do that, though. Maybe I just let this Liliana take 2 and then I kill the Spike Feeder. That seems like it's actually going to be more important. Like, this is going to make me weaker to Auriok Champion, but Auriok Champion doesn't actually block the illusions very well. It blocks the Kroxa really well, but Kroxa still gets triggers on attacking. So let's bolt the thing that would actually kill me. They're going to gain 4 up to 18. Wretched Confluence. That'd be sick. It's like it's like 4 mana commands basically. Goyf is nice, but I think Kroxa is gonna be nicer. We've got red, red, black, black already. I'm gonna plus first, so if the opponent's got like a path to exile, then we're gonna still get to escape. All right, so red, red, black, black. I guess we have Kolaghan's Command in the deck, so maybe I want to get a Tarmogoyf back. We also have Ren and 6 in the deck, so maybe I want to get the land back. I mean, at this point, I'm just going to prefer to have more threats. So I think I'll leave Goyf. They'll go to 15 here. And I guess there is a consideration to not attacking with Illusion, because if the opponent draws like a Path or a Purge, it can get the Kroxa out of the way and then knock the Liliana down to 1. But I think I just have to try to actually win here, right? Any land off of the top untap means I'm also activating Ravine. So I think if they're attacking the Liliana, I'm still just like in a good position. So I think an attack is probably safe, not playing around whatever's on top. Company would be the absolute worst case. I got scared for a sec. Big draw step. So we can shock that. We go down to 10. We can activate the Ravine. We could just Edict them. They have 0 cards in hand, so that seems fine. It's not getting much better. This also makes it such that they have to block, right? They're going to go down to 9 here. They could block this. Yeah, they just have to block. Yeah, cool. Heliod. I don't think I'm making any changes. We didn't see any spicy graveyard shenanigans. We didn't see any spicy tutoring of the library, so Ashiok doesn't look excellent. I think I'm just going to resubmit. I guess there's an argument to now, since we're on the draw, we could maybe bring in this push over a Cleansing Wildfire, but I think I still like the Wildfire to cut them off of some amounts of mana. Like, worst possible case, it does cycle. You can kill Pendelhaven and some other good utility. Yuck. So we've got a 1 mana play and a 2 mana play, but that 2 mana play doesn't do a whole lot of anything. I think I've got a ship. This is better. With the assumption that I'm going to hit a land, I think I want to bottom a swamp. Just keep the 1-3-4 curve. And I'm going to hope this is the creature as opposed to the sprawl. Darn. Because again, I could bolt the creature. I can't bolt the sprawl. Inquisition. Perfect draw. So they've got Spike Feeder, Conclave Mentor, Skyclave Apparition. Skyclave is going to be really, really annoying in the face of a Liliana, but I mean, they've got so many creatures anyway that Liliana is likely to just kill the first thing and then move on with its life. They've already got the third mana on turn 2, so any of these things can get cast. I guess I'm not taking Spike Feeder unless I'm worried about actual factual combo, which I mean is a concern, right? Because like I can take the Spike Feeder with this, but then that kind of prices the bolt into targeting the other one, and Liliana can be for the first whatever creature. I guess I should just take a Spike Feeder in that case, right? Because if they play a Spike Feeder next, I just bolt it. They can't really play Skyclave because they wouldn't take anything, and like Conclave Mentor is a fine play, but it's not great. And then if they play that, I can bolt it, and then I get to untap and Edict the Spike Feeder with the Liliana. This complicates that a little bit. So now I'm going to have to hold up Bolt for whatever they play, because I need the Liliana to Edict that. This was a good draw for the opponent. Maybe they didn't hit a land. They can't company without another land, so that's some silver lining. This indicates they've got to be using Conclave Mentor here. I mean, so we're going to get to Bolt, Mentor, untap, play Liliana to Edict this, and then if our Bloodbraid hits something live, we could start pulling ahead. Another one? Jeez. That's going to be harder. Brutal. I still have to Liliana this, right? Like, that's the only way I'm getting rid of them. Auriok Champion into Auriok Champion is pretty nightmarish. Bob would have been good last turn. I think I just have to go for the first Liliana, unfortunately. It's going to get attacked down. And they still have all of this. Feels pretty bad. I mean, I guess I could plus it, but then I just get Skyclaved. Double Auriok. I think that's this has got to be the way that I lose, right? Just double Auriok off of the top. Because if they only have one Auriok here, I think my line works, where like I bolt their Mentor if they played that. I untap, Edict their thing onto an empty board, and I can Bloodbraid with the Liliana already in play. And they drew Heliod too. They just do the actual factual nuts. I can Cleansing Wildfire the Utopia Sprawled land. That's not nothing. Thing is, though, they're still going to get to play the Mentor, which is going to turn on the Heliod. I guess I can bolt the Mentor still, which I'm kind of priced into doing. Alright, I can't play the Bob because I need to kill the Mentor so I don't just get hit for infinite. And then this is gonna make it so that if the opponent hits a land, I just die anyway, because they're gonna target it with Spike Feeder, which means I have to prompt the Bolt, and then they can just go infinite in response. So there just isn't a really good way to do this here. The opponent is just drawn way too hot. That's fine. I suppose I should let them target whatever. Oh, this actually doesn't turn the Heliod on. So I mean, I'm gonna let them target. Actually, yeah, I should let them target whatever first, right? They're targeting that. All right, so let's bolt the Mentor now so they don't get another counter. I mean, this still gives me a window to find a Liliana, but I would still just die to the Spike Feeder if they find a green source. Well, I wanted to end until the end step. There we go. Found the bolt. I mean, I still just die to the combo, unfortunately. Right? Because of this Auriok champion. I think I need to Bloodbraid, hope to hit Liliana. Because then I can at least still hold up the lightning bolt that I just drew. So let's get basic mountain. Play a peatland. Tap the peatland. Cross our fingers for a Liliana. Liliana, please. You ran so hot, I deserve it. Croxa, not exactly. This thing's gonna get pretty large. Yeah, I needed to hit a Liliana there. Discard backup Heliod. They used this. Alright, so they hand Spike Feeder Mentor. Or Apparition. This goes to 5/5, yep. Yeah, I mean, if I hit the Liliana exactly there and they don't draw Green Source, that's how I have to win. Like, again, like, the opponent has just drawn, like, unbelievably well. Auriok Champion into Heliod. Green Source kills me on the spot. Of course, there it is. So this triggers, they're just going to target the Spike Feeder, which means I have to bolt it, but then they just go infinite in response. What's it like? Jeez. Yeah, I mean, they drew them. Those were probably the worst 3 possible cards they could have found in that order. I mean, there's not much I can do about that, you know? Like, I just can't do anything about that. If you're going to draw it, you're going to draw it. It's Lagoon season. Arid Mesa. So maybe Prowess or Burn. I guess I can get Swamp on turn 1 with Verdant Catacombs to cast Inquisition. Seems fine to me. Gonna want to avoid getting Basic Forest because, again, doesn't escape Croxa. The sand's pretty powerful if I have the time to get to my top end. I guess maybe I should have actually fetched with this, though, because if I find that I need to get something with my forest, like if I'm playing against the Blood Moon, wow, it's Dredge. Well, we get to take the Cathartic Reunion. Dredge is a bad matchup. We've got some sideboard tech for it, though. Can't really cast this Croak, so they'll just discard a Dredger. I mean, taking the Cathartic Union was pretty big, but I mean, they're probably going to find a Haggle or a Cathartic Reunion or whatever it is. This can get, I guess, Overgrown Tomb. I guess if I get Blood Crypt, we can bolt something. We've got the Stomping Ground in hand. It's unlikely I want to bolt something anyway. Let's just get the Overgrown Tomb. This way, if I find a Tarmogoyf, I can at least cast it painlessly. Not casting Croxa. Thoughtseize. Well, if they had an Enabler, they would have cast it already. I don't think I can actually cast this. So I guess Stomping Ground tapped, pass. And then hope the Bloodbraid finds something impactful. I could Thoughtseize myself, take the Croxa just so I can shortcut it into play, but I'm still short on cards in the yard for that. And like, even then, them discarding cards seems bad for me. I guess I could have played my lands in these two lands in opposite order, so that way I could hold up the Terminate or the Bolt. You want to cast a Thug? Cast a Bloodghast. Alright. Well, I'm not wanting to bolt that anyway. Bloodbraid time. Bloodghast cannot block. So we're hoping to find additional sources of pressure. So Goyf would be best case. Fatal Push. Well, I guess if it's free. It'll be unfortunate if they like bin some amalgams and that's the Bloodghast that gets them back. Alright, we're on the board. Still gotta get lucky. Their hand is Thug and some other stuff. Alright, they found the Shriekhorn. That probably gets them going. Yeah, Conflagrate, they can now ditch their hand. Which is only 2 cards, Thug and something else. Cast a Creeping Chill. I guess that makes some sense. So their hand is only a Thug now. How do I win this game? I guess what I should do, if I Thoughtseize myself, I can fetch Basic Mountain, get Kroxa into play right now. I'm going to have to dodge some nutty dredges. But I mean, I need Kroxa to be attacking sooner rather than later. So I think the line is Thoughtseize myself, get Kroxa into play. This is going to put me down to 10, so Bloodghasts are going to have haste, unfortunately. What's up, Nick? Nick with the resub, I appreciate it. Is there ever a chance that not getting Kroxa into play right now is correct? Because remember, when this enters, their Thug is going to get binned, and then they're off to the races. I have to get lucky on a Dredge 4 and a Mill 2. It involves me getting lucky. I think I have to be lucky to win this game anyway, right? Because like, what's my plan otherwise? Like, terminate their Bloodghast, give them infinite time. Because like this costs. This is gonna take five more connections. I think I have to get Kroxa into play here by Thoughtseizing myself. So we're gonna get Basic Mountain here, save as much life as possible. Avidus, however you want to pronounce it. Thank you for the follow, I appreciate it. Thoughtseize me. Red, black, black. Does it matter what we keep? Can't say that it does. I guess if we have a Goyf, we'll want to keep an instant in the yard just to keep it big. I don't see a Ren and 6 mattering at this stage, so I'm not going to go out of my way to leave a land. What's that line from? It's like the power of whatever compels you. It's like, it's not that compelling. That's from a movie, right? So Bloodghasts will have haste. Kroxa can block one of them. Alright, that's what I got. Dredge 4, Mill 2. Alright, there's a Bloodghast and a Creeping Chill. They also hit an imp to Dredge. So Bloodghast puts me to an effective 5. Yeah, I can terminate that out of the way. I guess they don't have a land. That's true. Guess they'd have to find like a Dakmor salvage. Land, not great. So I guess I'm terminating the Thug and attacking. I think I can only attack with the Kroxa though, right? If I attack with both, and they hit a Creeping Chill, the Bloodghast that we know about kills me. I guess as a worst case scenario, I've got a Bolt to defend myself. I think I've got to take that line. I guess I could sacrifice Peatland first in an attempt to get more information, which I probably should just do. If I use the Swamp, I can still cast Bolt and Terminate. I guess that's true if I use the Mountain, but then I have double black. No, because I need double red. So I'll use the Swamp to do it. Liliana, that doesn't matter. So let's attack. I have to kill the Thug. I guess I should kill the Thug now. Because then they have to put a creature back on top. I actually probably want to use the Terminate first, right? Because like there's a chance I may need the Bolt to go to face. And then doing this now I think is good, because if the opponent Shriek Horns and they hit like a Narcomoeba or something, this is one fewer card that they have to hit it. But so if they do it now in response, at least I can take that into a consideration for my attack. So they had the Thug tuck itself. Okay, let's attack both. Because an attack both puts them dead in next turn if they can't block, right? So I think I've got to do this. Alright, I've got just a Bolt to defend myself. You can Shriekhorn here. You're going to hit at a minimum the whatchamacallit. They hit a Chill. Uh-oh. So, I mean, if they hit only another Chill, I can Bolt the Bloodghast to stay alive, but they do still have a Conflagrate in the yard. They dredged and hit Stinkweed, Amalgam, Burning Inquiry, and a Loam. Did I get there? What did they put into their hand again? They dredged 5 things, so they've got a Stinkweed in their hand, right? If it's just a Stinkweed, I can bolt it out of the way and kill them. They have to get lucky off of a mill too. They hit a Chill. That kills me, right? Because now they just have the Conflagrate for exactly 1. Jeez, they needed to hit third Creeping Chill there. What a nightmare. I mean, they still have to see it, but I mean, I doubt they miss it. They needed to have 2 more. They needed to have 2 of their 3 Creeping Chills in the top like 8-ish cards of their library, and they did it. They shoot me for 1 now and kill me. I mean, you expect to lose game 1 versus Dredge anyway, but that stings. Like, it was so within reach, and then they just got lucky. Alright, so 2 Ashioks, 2 Plague Engineers, 3 Spell Bombs. On the play, I like the Brutalities, because you can take the Cathartic Reunions. Can't play Liliana. Can't play Kroxa. I guess, like, the pushes are pretty bad. That's 60. So we've got 9 okay sideboard cards and a Cling to Dust as our aces. Would have felt really good to win that one. We've got Spellbomb and a Tarmogoyf. Well, I'm hoping that's good enough. They've mulliganed. They've mulliganed again. Do it again. I wasn't looking. Alright, so we're hoping to find more lands for the top end and or an Ashiok. More spell bombs work too. Burning Inquiry. Yep. I mean, luckily I had the turn 1 spell bomb, so this can't be too insane. Well, they hit my land and we didn't draw another one. Brutal. They put a Stinkweed Imp into the yard. Can I get a land, please? They even hit my Goyf. Alright, at least we hit the land. I could play Inquisition. Probably just should. If they've got like the Cathartic Reunion or something, this could be a way to hit it. They've got just a Thug. Alright, well, I mean, if they dredge that, I think I'm just going to respond with a... if they dredge anything, I'm just going to respond with Spell Bombing. I'll just fetch Shock now. Let's get the Overgrown Tomb. Now, I am going to wait until they dredge or not dredge. Okay. They dredged. Mire, Burning Inquiry, Stinkweed Imp, Conflagrate. I should have set a stop end of their draw step. Luckily, it didn't bite me. They could conflagrate me here to dump their hand, but then I've got the spell bomb. Conflagrate X is 3. Yeah. So that's it. That's all they've got. I can spell bomb it right now. So they're on actual empty. Third land is nice. We have Kolaghan's Command to buy back our own Tarmogoyf. We've got Bloodbraid as well. Alright, we're doing alright for ourselves. We don't want to see, I guess, Shriekhorn would be the worst case. If they do find a Shriekhorn, the second mode will be to shatter it. Just putting a Loam into your yard. Yeah, that makes some sense. I think I still want to use my mana to get back the Goyf. So I guess I'll shock the opponent as the last mode. So return a creature, shock the opponent. Return this, shock you. Another land. So Goyf is a 4/5. So we could hit another ace with the Bloodbraid if we Bloodbraid. So I should probably just do that. Goyf might attack for more faster. But I like starting to attack and also just maybe hitting another ace. Like, this could be our only good window to hit Cling to Dust or an Ashiok, for example. Forest doesn't escape Kroxa, but we're also not playing Kroxa, so I can freely get it, I believe. So any of our aces would be appreciated. What did we reveal? Pulse, of course. I guess I'm not casting it. I'm still feeling okay as long as their Dredge 3 isn't insane. Life from the Loam, Bloodghast, Conflagrate. Or they didn't actually hit a land to get back with the Loam. That land would get back Bloodghast. Big draw step here. Not quite. Alright, well, I guess I'm definitely playing Tarmogoyf, attacking for 3, and I guess I should get the Ravine down, too, so it can attack next turn and maybe threaten lethal. Am I planning on doing another league after this one? Unfortunately, I cannot. They hit Ox Narcomoeba. They can't escape the Ox yet, so this is just gonna happen. And I guess I'm gonna terminate this thing out of the way, and then I can bolt face for the victory. If this is just a loam, I'm good to go. Alright, so we're good to go. That can't block. Thoughtseize, that shouldn't matter. We can activate Ravine here, and if for whatever reason this doesn't work, I could just shock and then bolt them for the last few points. Like, they can't even Lightning Access here because an additional cost would be discard a card, and they only have 1. Alright, going to game 3. On the draw, though. Brutality does get weaker on the draw. Because we can't take a Cathartic Reunion on the draw. The opponent gets 2 mana before we do. That pulse was for all the games where I was staring down an opposing Ugin? Yeah, pretty much. So, do I want to take out Brutality for anything? I think Brutality is still just going to be better than all of this nonsense. Alright, fingers are crossed. Let's see if we can curve a Spellbomb into an Ashiok. Alright, this has neither of those things. This has a Spellbomb and 2 Tarmogoyfs. This feels like it's got to be a keep. And then let's bottom probably Kolaghan's Command. The opponent has also mulliganed to 5 so far. Yeah, I think I'm bottoming. Well, it's definitely one of these two, right? So it's like if they can somehow kill a Tarmogoyf, Kolaghan's Command would be a way to buy it back. Terminate kills Ox of Agonis, whereas Kolaghan's does not. I think I'm just going to bottom the more expensive spell and hope to not need it more than Terminate. They've mulliganed to 4. Okay, this. If they're mulliganing to 4, this could be a scenario where Spellbomb is good. They're going to 3. All right, I'm not gonna be too hopeful yet because they really don't need much. This at least means Cathartic Reunion is no longer an enabler, right? So they won't have enough cards to discard to it after playing a second land. Yeah, this league we were lucky enough to not run into Tron. So I am thankful for that. So I guess they've got the Shriekhorn then. That would make their keep at 3 make sense. Yep. So I'm going to hope they don't hit anything nutty. Inquisition not going to be good anymore, unfortunately. Let's say yes to this, play the Spellbomb. They should respond to this, I think, in case they hit a Narcomoeba. Alright. And I'm not going to pop the Spellbomb unless something real nutty happens. Double Forgotten Cave, that doesn't count. They just took a natural draw. That makes some sense. Another land is nice. I think this might be the window where I just want to get a Tarmogoyf down so I can start attacking. If they hit something nutty, that means I'm not drawing a card off of Spellbomb, but the pieces are kind of already here. So I think I like deploying a Tarmogoyf. Maybe I should not shock just to conserve life. I could definitely see that being good. This means I won't be able to terminate until my next turn, but I'm probably just playing Goyf next turn anyway, so I think I am just going to conserve the life here, get basic Swamp. Is it actually better to get Forest for any reason? No, right? Because I'm playing Ashiok. So let's just play the Goyf off of a basic Swamp. Yeah, Eldrazi, Tron, and Tron are the 4 and 5 decks right now. Nothing nutty, please. Reunion Mountain. Okay, that doesn't count. Bolt. I guess I lead on attack, see if anything happens. Then I'll play second Goyf, play a land, and hold up a spell bomb without a black mana. Just continue adding to the board. And I'm gonna set the stop at the draw, right? Just so I really can't mess this up. What you got? Please nothing nutty. Shriekhorn and an Ox. So they need 2 more cards in the yard to escape the Ox. So I think that's okay. They also need another red source to escape it. They don't actually have any dredgers here. So this feels okay. I can let it go for now. Yes. They've had enough. All right, so after a pretty painful game 1 loss, which we in theory shouldn't really expect to win anyway, we got games 2 and 3 with the spell bomb. So overall, this video is going long, so let's do a quick deck tick / wrap up for purposes of the recording, as we like to do here. So this list it felt really smooth. We played some fringe matchups in the forms of Hammer Combo, which Hammer Combo is still probably a very fine deck, just the representation isn't as high right now. And we played against Infect. I feel like those 2 matchups specifically are pretty good from the Jun side. And then obviously we played against Dredge, which I don't think is a good matchup. For sure game 1. Game 2 and 3 you kind of have to mulligan for the sideboard cards, and we did, and we found one, we won. So our 2 losses were to Heliod. Heliod, I think, is an okay matchup. I think it's probably about 50-50. We saw that our opponent just drew an absolute god in the deciding game, unfortunately. And then our other loss, I can't say I remember what it was off of the top of my head. So if someone can remember before the end of the wrap up, I guess I'll mention it. But all in all, this list felt very fine. It didn't feel ridiculously great. It didn't feel bad. I mean, pretty much every card served the purpose that it was intended to have. Dark Confidant was absolutely insane, and I think 3 of our matches, the Red and 6 was fine in the matchup where we found it. I think that we found it versus the Hammer Time combo opponent, and we found it at a time where we were stuck on 2 lands, so it helped us dig out of that, which was nice. I still don't think this card is really worth it if you're only going to use it for the +1. In the corner case scenario, which came up, where we're stuck on 2 lands, it can be good, but if you're not using this card for also the minus, then maybe it's just not good enough. And I haven't liked it in the past, and my opinion on it is still kind of teeter-tottery. It was obviously great this league. We also found it versus the Infect matchup, and this card is probably the best card in the deck versus specifically Infect, but Infect not very popular. The Kolaghan's commands were excellent. We saw them pretty much every matchup and had them be good, obviously with the exception of the Dredge opponent. The Bloodbraids were excellent draws. The Lilianas were excellent. The Pulse was fine. I think we cast it once or twice, and it 1-for-1 is just fine. And then the Inquisition Thoughtseize split still feels pretty good. I mentioned at the end of my last video that I might be switching my split. I might go back to 3-3 because there's a lot of stuff that gets Thoughtseized that doesn't get Inquisition these days because Eldrazi, Tron, and Tron are on the rise. And also lots of control decks casting Cryptic Command with Lurrus as a companion. So maybe Thoughtseize is just better.
And I think it might just be better right now. So I think next video I'll probably make that swap. And then the Kling has been just fine. We didn't cast it this league, but the first league I unretired it was the last one, and it was just fine in that league. So I think I'm pretty satisfied with this list. We brought in every sideboard card at least once. I think maybe we actually didn't bring in Damping Sphere. We didn't play against any big mana, so we didn't bring in Damping Sphere, but there are lots of matchups where it would have been good. So I think I really like this sideboard. This sideboard, I had a discussion with someone in the comments recently, I don't remember their name, about how they liked diversifying their sideboard in order to have more niche uses for specific matchups, where as opposed to having a specific card that you want to have to target a specific matchup and just like overload on that. I'm of the opinion that when the format is very well defined and you know what you're likely to play against, I'd rather just have my specific pieces that target specific decks, because I feel like the Jund matchup is pretty 50-50 versus most things. So my general sideboard strategy is look at your 30 to 40% matchups, and then play the sideboard cards that turn them into 60s, as opposed to turning your 60s into 70s and 80s. I'd rather just have fair game versus most things. If the format is full of things where it becomes worth it to turn your 60s and 70s into 80s and 90s, then yeah, I like diversifying. But while the meta is so well defined, I like just narrowly targeting the things that I'm worried about. So that's why the sideboard is as it is right now. And I think that just about wraps up what I've got to say. Oh yes, thank you. I lost to the Kiki combo Jeskai deck. The matchup's probably fine. Jund traditionally has a good matchup versus Splinter Twin, but I think I misplayed in game 1, so maybe that was a matchup I end up winning if I don't be a dingus. But I was a dingus, so we lost. So yeah, maybe a 4-1, but I mean still a very solid 3-2. So yeah, that's going to be it for this recording. If you're watching on Twitch and you're not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, you definitely should. The link to that is right below my head, and it's also linked to my Twitch page. So if you scroll down on the Discover, you'll see my my YouTube page. And if you're not already subscribed on the YouTube and you're watching this here on YouTube, you should definitely follow me over on Twitch so you can catch the Jund Awesomeness live. So until next time, have a good one, and Jund 'em out.